should your font size should be number 12. Okay, 1 minute. Your font size should be 12. Right? Your font size should be 12. So, Moggy, Prince. And so one of the things we have to look to in our project work is one, the word count. The word count. You need to have a word count which is up to 2,000 words. It means that you cannot have a word count which is more than 2,000 words. Okay? You cannot have a word count which is more than 2,000 words. It should be within the confinements of 2,000 words. Okay? Guys, are you here with me? Daisy, Moggy, and Prince, are you here with me?
Yes, please.
Yes.
We are. Yeah.
Good. Now, your font size should be which size, please? Your font size, what size should it be? Your font size should be what kind of size? Should be 12. Okay. You should have your tutor name, your student name, and then you should also have your center. What subject area are you trying to present your assignment? And then what unit code? What is your assignment title? Carrying out a research project. Indicative word is 2,000 words. What unit are you grading on? One,
Hello,
two,
good
three.
afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Latifa to Ahmed. How are you?
I'm okay, and you?
Not too bad. Have you just joined us for the first time?
Pardon?
Have you joined for the first time?
No, no, no. But for this time, this is my first time.
Yeah, I thought as much.
Yeah, because 3 o'clock, I've been busy. I just remembered that today we have class. That's why I said, let me join and see if you are still on.
Yeah.
So sorry that I'm late.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we trying to look into research work and research proposals. Okay. All right. Now I mentioned that we have to adhere to what we call the guidelines of every university and what they expect from students. Now, for UK varsity, every assignment should have what we call a cover note or a cover sheet. And in your cover sheet, you need to have your student name properly written, your tutor name, your center, what subject area are you looking into, the unit code, your assignment title or carrying out research projects, and your indicative word. Okay. And then your word count. I mentioned that your word count should not be more than 2,000 words. Your word count should not be more than 2,000 words. The date that you are submitting your exams and the date that is due, the assignment, the date of submission should be captured on your cover sheet, and the date is due as well. And if there's any resubmission, normally you would have been told by your tutor if it's been marked and you have to do a resubmission, your resubmission date should be captured as well. You need to have student declaration from against any more practices or against any plagiarism. Okay? So this needs to be completed as well. Your signature, your word count, we have to check. So that needs to be completed as well. And then your assignment brief. So in this assignment brief, it says this unit will be assessed by up to a 2,000 word report presented in a format agreed with your tutor. So in research work, you agree everything with your tutor. It is your tutor that has the final say. Okay? It is your tutor that has the final say. It is your tutor that has the final say. And so your research work, the proposal, any other thing, your tutor should be able to guide you and make sure that you're on track. And so the number of words should be agreed with your tutor. The report should have an evaluation of the investigation, identifying limitations encountered, and possible improvement for future work on a similar theme. Okay. The report should include an evaluation of the investigation, identify limitations encountered, and possible improvement for future work on a similar theme. Okay. So when we say evaluation of an investigation, what do we mean? In research work, Prince, you should know when we say evaluation of your investigation, what does it mean? Prince,
Yes, please.
when we say evaluation of the investigation, what do we mean? And which category of data do you place them? Is it a primary data or is it a secondary data, Prince?
Okay, the evaluation goes into the secondary data course. With the primary data, like you've already gathered the information you're already needing. So with the secondary one, you just add up from the primary.
Okay. And so when we say evaluation of the investigation, what does that mean in research work? Latifa. 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 Daisy. Daisy, are you there? Moji, are you there, Moji? Moji. Okay, Prince, do you want to help us? When we say
Okay.
evaluation of the investigation,
Oh, sorry, I
what do you
was
mean?
trying to,
Latifa, okay.
yes. Please, the answer again. The
When we
question again.
say when we say an evaluation of the investigation that you have gathered, what do we mean in research work?
So, is the value that contains the assignment like things that contains in the assignment like the details and then how you put on your questions, and then how to respond the question, how to answer the question with all those stuff. So I think that how it values, yeah, that's how I can say it.
Prince, what's your take?
Okay,
What's your take, Prince?
evaluation is more on like delving into the issue, like just analyzing data you've gathered about the research. Yeah.
Mhm. So, but do you remember, Prince, do you remember something called literature review?
Yes, please. Yeah.
What do you remember about it?
The literary review.
Mhm.
I think that one. Please hold on, because I wrote it on my notes, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody want to give a try?
I think the literary review is more or less like a survey on a topic.
Not a survey, a review. It's a
Yeah,
review.
a review on a topic. Sorry. Yeah.
Yes, so it's first and the secondary. You have gotten your data primary, but then you are trying to do evaluate or review, isn't it?
Yes, please.
On the
Yeah.
information you have got. That is literature review. You are evaluating the information that you have gathered, the literature you have got. You are reviewing them to then direct you which direction you want to go with the information gathered. Isn't it? So you can choose your topic.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, do we have limitations in in thesis, in project work? Do we have?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So you say identify your limitations encountered, and maybe you were your project was not ethical. The topic that you are trying to do was not ethical. For instance, you want to investigate uh, prostitution in Ghana or prostitution in certain area in Ghana, and you have to interview some prostitutes. That's a very it won't be an easy task. Or you need to go undercover to do some investigations. You are going to encounter some limitations. Okay, there will be some limitations, and then possible improvement for future work on a similar team. And so your improvement will be your recommendations. Okay, what you encountered and what may be the possible improvements that you need to, put it out there. And so projects should have its review or investigations, there may be limitations, and there will be possible improvement. Okay. Completing your research project. Using your research proposal, plan for the planning a research project unit, write a suitably structured report. So for one, if your report should ensure that you address the ethical issues that may arise as a result of exploring this issue and undertaking the research, okay? Ensure that you address the ethical issues that may arise as a result. When we say anything ethical, is anything, okay, that may raise concerns around your research. Exploring this issue and undertaking the research, how would this be managed? What codes or regulations or legislation would inform this? Okay, so I spoke about having have to do a research in a place where there are political issues or legal issues within the area, you know, and so those are things that you need to find out what may be the regulations or the legal issues in that particular area pertaining to the prevailing issues, or what may be the regulations in that area relative to what you seek to do. Okay. Do you need permission? Do you need and document or certification that will help you against any threats in the area or in the locality. Okay. All right. Then use plan to carry out your research activity. In discussing with your tutor, you may wish to revise your research proposal slightly in preparation for undertaking the investigation. Okay. Okay. For undertaking in discussing your tutor, you may wish to revise your research proposal slightly in preparation for undertaking the investigation. Okay. You have to use plan to carry out your research activity. So you have to plan. In discussing with your tutor, you may wish to revise your research proposal. Now, what it means that your research proposal, like I mentioned, should not be broad. It needs to be very specific and limited. But in addition, is that your tutor can guide you to make sure that your research work, any sentence that you have to take out or anything you have to take to make it very reasonable pertaining to the direction you want to go, your tutor can. So you have to revise upon it every time to make sure that you are on track per the advice and directive of your tutor. Okay. Collect your data using data collection tools identified in your proposal. Okay. So normally in your research proposal, you normally give a summary. In the summary, you are going to tell how you are going to collect your data and also what tools you are going to use to collect the data. Okay, whether two questionnaires or two surveys or any other. Okay, ensure that your work considers the reliability of the data collection tools and the validity of the findings throughout. How were the ethical considerations dealt with? For example, but not exclusively informed consent by any participants, confidentiality and privacy, use of information for your report and assignment. Did the proposal need to be considered by ethics committee or panel? Okay. Your proposal normally need to be confirmed by your tutor. In the case where you are being financed by an organization or an NGO to do that, then you need have to deal with a panel. Okay. You need to deal with your panels. Okay. Then periodically report progress to your tutor at arranged times. And with the tutor's advice, consider if any modifications to your research activity are needed. Okay. I didn't mention that you're a tutor that has a final say in your project work. Analyze the data to establish the results obtained and consider conclusions to drawn from your work in relation to your aims of the project and research question. Every project has an aim and objectives. And so you need to review every now and then and make sure that whatever you are doing has resemblance or correlation relative to your aims of the project work. What are your aims? What are the things that you aim to do or you need to do? So your hypothesis should be tested. It should have something that can be checked upon. You have aims, but then are the project work as you progress, are they correcting? Are they in shape or in tandem with your aims? Okay. Consider if more data should be gathered. Consider the fitting time available to complete the work. Okay, and that's AC2. Do you have any questions? Do we have any questions, please? Do we have any questions, please?
No, please.
Okay, let's proceed on. Prepare a report on your research project that answers your research questions using a format that should include 1. Stating your research question and hypothesis, aims, etc. Okay. How the work was carried out in relation to the intended methodology. Okay. Any ethical issues that were addressed and how. Okay. Summarizing relevant data collected and your conclusions from the results. Depending on the research approach you have used and the type of data collected, you may wish to present your data using graphs or charts. Okay. Summarizing relevant data collected and your conclusions from the results. Depending on the research approach you have used and the type of data collected, you may wish to present your data using graphs or charts. I did mention that when it comes to what we call methodology, you will need to present your data not through written statements, but through graphs or through Venn diagrams or through histograms. Okay. And so that needs to be shown, because when somebody take your assignment, your project work, not necessarily do they have to read everything before they understand. But then even when they look at the graphs and these plottings or the data being done through the methodology side, they can tell what it means, or they can understand through the graph that you have plotted. Okay. Include an evaluation of the research activity that you have undertaken that identifies any limitations encountered and considers improvements in methodology for future work on a similar theme. Okay. Include an evaluation of the research activity you have undertaken that identifies any limitations encountered and considers improvements in methodology for future work on a similar theme. Okay. So this is very important as well. Because in the evaluation, as I've mentioned, it's you are able to identify your limitations and then also look into improvement in the methodology for future work in a similar theme. Probably you want to do your PhD, so you can look, you can fall on it as well. Ensure that you cite your text sources and provide a reference list accurately using the appropriate reference system. What is a reference system for this university? What's the reference? What kind of reference do we use? What reference do we use for
Harvard
UK?
University.
The Harvard type of reference. Good. The Harvard type of reference. The Harvard type of reference. Spot on. Okay. Do we have any questions at this stage? If there's this question, just hold on. Let's give ourselves just 5 minutes or 10 minutes whilst we go to the next stage. Okay. Are you guys okay to continue? Okay. So if you look at the learning outcomes for this particular assignment or research work, you have your learning outcomes. You have the assessment criteria, which we use in assessing students. So let's look at understand the concepts of integrity and quality and take them into account on your research project. We spoke about integrity and quality, didn't we? And we said that your integrity of your project work should have a declaration on your plagiarism, in that you don't present your research work full of references which you have not full of information that you have owned and you've not referenced. Okay, so so the student in assessment, you have to show understanding of your concepts of validity, reliability, and ethical consideration. We spoke about validity, didn't we? Reliability. How reliable is your research work? Is it valid? Where valid means they can cross-check and see that what you chose, the source of information, is a credible source. Okay? 1.2, you have to outline the validity, reliability, and ethical considerations as appropriate as considered in the research project work. Okay? So you need to show the concepts of validity, reliability, and ethical considerations. And then to outline how validity, reliability, and ethical considerations are appropriate, are considered in the research project. Okay. 2, collect and analyze data, information appropriate to the aims of the research. Collect and analyze data, information appropriate to the aims of the research. Every research should have an aim. But what then will be the assessments? If we aid you, our assessment then will be what? You have to use the appropriate sources to select and gather relevant information. Okay? You have to do what? You have to use the appropriate sources. So the sources are what? The valid sources and reliable sources. If it's journal, it should be valid and reliable. If it's peer reviewed or conference informations, they ought to be reliable and they ought to be validable. Okay? And so we are able to check, and this is why you do what we call plagiarism reports. You sign a declaration, or what we do AI reports, in that we can verify and see that or know that your research submitted to us was not done by yourself, but you did what we call copy and paste. And when you find yourself one thing, you'll be cited against what we call examination malpractice. Okay? Then the third part, you have to produce an individual research project on a named topic involving relevant aspects of the subject area. That's what we call research or literature review. Write and submit a suitably structured report. Your report should be structured. Okay? Your report should be structured. All right? All right? Are we together? So when you do that, we have the Twitter comments and then Twitter submissions and all that. And whether you find yourself in an A grade or a pass grade, you will be known by that. Okay. Now, using the standard, utilize both components, knowledge and as understanding. Your knowledge and understanding will score you marks. Okay. And whether you have very good understanding by choosing the facts, a concept, the theories, models would lead into a very good, but you can have an excellent understanding when you have theories, your methods that you use, your ideas, okay, your procedures in gathering the data and submissions. When they are spot on, that can lead into an excellent or what we call a distinction grade. Okay. All right. You need to have your facts intact. You need to have your theories intact, your ideas intact, and you name them. Okay. Using this standard. Okay. For all units, irrespective of size, select a minimum of 2 or maximum of the most relevant subcomponents. Choices must be consistent across merit and distinction. For distinction, you need to be consistent, demonstrate an ability to select and using skills as required by the unit. And excellent levels of choose with accuracy, reasoning, and focus. Okay? Accuracy, reasoning, and focus. And for and for and for accuracy, reasoning, and focus. Okay? And if you want to score a merit, then you need to generally demonstrate an ability to select using skills as required or have a very good level of what? Reasoning and focus. So those are the two different transferable skills. When you say something transferable skill, what do you mean? What's the understanding on that? Transferable skills. What's the meaning of transferable skills? Mhm. Transferable skills. What's the meaning of that? Mhm. What's the meaning of transferable skills? Okay, let's crack on that. Transferable skills for units irrespective of size, select two maximum components. So transferable skills, what skills do you have that you can transfer onto the project work? You might be a very good IT person. Those are transferable skills. You might be good in typing or Word, or you may have presentation skills. Those are transferable skills, okay? Your grammar may be spot on. You write very well. Those are transferable skills, okay? All right? You have to demonstrate control of the subject area, okay? An excellent ability, okay? Plan and organize and complete the work. Plan as being proposed, okay? Conduct independent research. Conduct independent research. They all lead into a merit or a distinction, okay? So this is just a little overview or tutorial on your research work submission. And I'm done for today. What may be your questions? Latifa, Daisy, Mojira, Niza. Today I've not seen the other lady. Okay. Any questions?
No.
Are you sure? Who spoke? Is it Daisy? Is that Daisy?
Yes.
Daisy, you don't have any questions at all?
Nope.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Good. Prince, I will treat my Ghana brother. How are you? What any questions?
Oh, please.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I'm very cool with like the explanation you gave because it's very well understood, sir.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's well understood and self-explanatory. So
It's self-explanatory. Okay.
yeah.
So what key things can you gather from today? I mean, in research work or in your project submission, what are the key things that you have to make sure you don't miss? Who has a final say in your project work? Who has a final say?
The tutor.
Your tutor. Good. Your tutor. Anything that you do should have its final say from your tutor. You can't do things anyhow. Your tutor has the final say. He's your guide or she's your guide. Okay? And so from your literature review to the proposal, everything should be done. Why would you have to capture your limitations in your project work? Why do you have to, in your project, your limitations? Why is it important? Why is it important you capture your limitations, okay, or your setbacks? Why is it important? Mhm. Why is it important, please? Prince, Mogi, why is it important that we capture limitations? Limitation considerations. So that they will know that these are things you encountered whilst you are trying to gather your information to present your data. So that if you're unable to even to furnish them with all the informations, they know there was a reason why you did that. Okay. Your project work should be valid and reliable. Why? Why so? Why so? Mhm. Why should it be reliable and validable? Oh, nobody's talking. Is nobody speaking? Why should it be reliable and validable? Because the sources of your information is very important to your project work. And therefore, it should be. Who is speaking, Prince? Is it Prince? Latifa, are you not speaking? Why is it validable? Are we not speaking? So your information gathering should be very valid and it should be very reliable. And you need to consider ethically. It should be ethical. The information that you want to, because people are going to participate in your project work. At times you have survey or group of people who are part of the project work, and they need to be ethical. Okay. Do you have to seek consent in your questionnaire and stuff? Do you have to seek consent? Prince,
Yes, please. Yeah.
why do you have to seek consent? Or why is consent important in information gathering?
It's important because like it shows the source you had it from.
Mm-hmm. Say it again.
I said it's important because it shows the source you had your information from.
That's fine. But consent is not necessarily the source. The sources have to do with the valid and reliability. But the
Okay.
consent has to do with the people that you want to see questionnaire, the questions or answers from. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And so, for instance, if you are part of a group or you are the team leader and you have employed people to help you in your information gathering, you need to seek consent from them how you are going to use the information. You understand me?
Yes, please.
And that's what we call consent, express consent. They need to be aware, or you need to explain to them the reasons why you are gathering these informations and what they'll be used for. Okay, so if you have gone undercover and you're trying to speak to some prostitutes in certain areas, okay, and you want some to open up, you need to let them know the reason why you're gathering the information and the purpose of it and where it's going to be used. And you have to let them know you are going to protect them. The information will be kept private. You understand?
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So if there's no further questions, we'll bring our today's lecture to an end. Okay.
Okay, sir.
See you when I see you. All the best. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much,
You're
sir.
welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.